James Booth, Washington County Commissioner. So the explanation of what the county home is and farm, there's an operational farm here. So if you're on Social Security, if you come towards the latter part of your life and you don't want to live alone, even a husband and wife, and it's just too hard to take care of your house, to do the normal chores and such, this is an option that you can come and live. That you have this beautiful building here, you've got a farm that you can go out on, and you can live here, and you have a full-time nursing staff, you have full-time housekeeping staff. It's just an option to live as a senior.
Is it a free option?
No, it is not free.
Okay.
But it could be. So if you're drawing Social Security, then you give up most of your benefit. Is that right, Mr. Ritter? So you'll give up most of your benefit to live here. But that is the full cost. That's everything. Room, board, they have activities here and such. So in essence, you're giving up your Social Security benefit, except for a very, very small portion, to live and stay here, and they will sustain you.
Okay, perfect. Well, let's go ahead and go. We haven't had a meeting today.
Yes.
Correct? This is the monthly meeting?
Yes.
Is that so? Every month y'all meet here.
Correct.
And go through expenditures and items of agenda. So let's go ahead and see. Number 1 is review of outstanding bills. I mean, I'm guessing this is exactly what it looks like.
That's exactly right. So what they do is the management staff will provide us with what their expenditures were for the month, and those are listed throughout, down to and this is pretty normal, $206,000, a little bit over, to operate for the month.
Okay.
And then number 2 is a breakdown of those, of some of those there: office, food supplies, household clothing and such, medical. We always get a breakdown of the resident meal cost, so they keep track of what it's costing for each resident to live here. Because as you know, there's a levy that Washington County homeowners pay on their property taxes that benefits the home.
Okay, it comes here.
Correct. So, and you heard that spoken of.
I heard a little bit about that. I don't think we need to go into that one deeper later, but
so a little over $2 million that Washington County residents betroth in their tax money to the home to operate. So being accountable for that monies is why we do all this.
Okay.
One reason. They always go over new residents.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the next line item is new residents. This is one female, age 19. You have a 19-year-old here?
Did for one day.
Okay.
And that was through APS, Adult Protective Services.
Okay.
And it was more of a safe haven at that point. Because to my understanding, that it was just the lady needed to be out of a situation.
I understand.
And this was a safe haven for a night.
Okay.
In that sort of situation, Chris, because of COVID, there is a 2-week policy where that person wouldn't even join the general population because of the space that's available here. They have a quarantine area. So I don't know this for certain, but I suspect that young lady probably spent her one night in that quarantine area. Again, she didn't join the general population.
Right. Okay. Perfect. So that was new residents, just one update. Okay, now number 4, resident income.
So what's projected is that's kind of what was budgeted, $31,250 for the month, but they received a little over $46,000. So that will be in what we spoke of, the Social Securities that were given up, or in this case there was some sales that were made of some scrap metals, some prescription reimbursement, and then there was a manufacturer's rebate that they got back. So they report all that stuff to us.
Okay.
So it's just a hair under $47,000 that they received to operate.
Okay.
On top of that also.
And where does this $31,000 come from?
That's the budgeted amount. In other words, that's what they estimated that they would receive.
Okay.
But the actual is the received amount.
Okay. Number 5, staff turnover.
They always report to the commissioners how the personnel is doing, whether they have one leave, one add, and so on and so forth. So it kind of gives us a good idea of how the staffing is.
Number 6, mandatory meningitis vaccine. All residents and staff were vaccinated for meningitis. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Number 7 is meal report. Hickory Farms versus Gordon Foods.
Right, that's a meat report.
Okay.
So
meat. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So on the farm,
There's a farm here, right? You said
There's
something about that?
operational farm.
Okay.
So we have cows on the farm,
Okay.
beef, and it's always compared that when the county home slaughters their own beef for food for the residents, the cost of that versus if we bought it from Gordon Foods.
Okay.
So we receive a meat report to make sure that they're staying not only in line, but they're less than buying it off of.
Sure. So you actually raise cows here, slaughter them, and then the meat comes back here. Is that correct? So you're
Correct.
actually saving money on food costs by running the farm and feeding your residents.
Correct.
Okay, that's neat. Didn't know that.
Mhm.
Number 8, first quarter report of operations. I got a breakdown here.
Correct. And it was just to show on their budget how they were doing and what they were spending in each category,
Mhm.
to each line item, to show where they were sitting at for the quarter, to make sure that they were staying within budget.
Okay. Let's see. The request to apply for business credit card. I heard a little bit about that, but if you wouldn't mind just going over.
No, that's fine. Before, the county home employees were having to use their personal credit cards to do business for the county home, unknown to the commissioners. So once Deanna Robinson took over, she identified that as an issue that county employees were having to use those.
Mhm.
So they want their own credit card, and I see no reason why they shouldn't.
Right. So, moving forward, they said that they're going to broach this subject again at the actual meeting. And so, do you think it looks safe that you're going to approve some sort of credit card?
Yes. I would say yes, because this is a public meeting also that we
Yeah.
just left from. So, yes, I believe the commissioners, I know myself, I'm in favor of that.
Right. Okay. Summer youth program. What's this?
So this is Amanda Suffin through JFS. She has gotten with Deanna Robinson, and they have identified 4 individuals that are going to come out here and work on the farm.
Okay.
So 2 of them will be working with Ted, working the farm
Okay.
itself, 1 in housekeeping and 1 in the kitchen.
So basically, you're going to hire high school age students or something like
So,
that for.
I believe that the ones on the farm are going to be 18 or older.
Okay.
Because they have to operate some equipment.
Right. But just like seasonal kind of employment. Okay.
Yes.
Number 11 looks like a partnership with the Career Center. Is this happening or is this proposed?
This is some talks that have
Okay.
been happening. So working with high school students to get out here to expand those careers, and we
Mhm.
also spoke of working with the VOAC programs throughout different high schools.
Is this for the farm or is this for the facility here with
I
like
believe
treatment?
both,
Okay.
because as the Career Center has nursing and such, so that ties into the home.
Yeah.
Of course, the VOAC programs tie into the farm itself. And
Okay.
So there's just a lot out here at the home that can benefit some kids.
All right. Roof painting. That's the next line item.
Those are some maintenance, some roofs that need some maintenance.
Mhm.
They are not the maintenance-free roofs, so they will need painted.
Okay.
Literally, they'll get up there with brushes and paint it on there.
Right.
So they're going to get 3 quotes.
Okay.
For
Okay.
that.
And the call light system. First of all, for those who don't know, what exactly is the call light system?
Kind of like if you're in the hospital,
Okay.
if you need assistance, that you'll hit the call light,
Right.
and that will alert the nurses or the staff that you need assistance.
Sure. And what's the issue with the call light system that they have currently?
We understand that it's working inadvertently, so
Uh-huh.
sometimes it's working properly, sometimes it's not, so that's a pretty high priority.
Yeah, that could be an issue.
Sure.
All right. Let's see. Is there anything else you want to get out about this meeting? Anything that just happened that you think?
I'm just pleased with what I'm seeing we came in today, and the activity in the home is just, everything's a buzz, which is superb, and that's what we strive for, is that everything's being utilized here at the home and the farm.
Yeah, part of the benefit to the county home, Chris, is people living in community. One of the worst things that can happen to a senior is to live in isolation. So Jamie's exactly right. We came in, there's music playing, we hear televisions on, we see people walking the hallways and conversing. It's a quality of life issue. So that's always good to see.
Okay, and one other thing that was mentioned in the meeting that I think bears repeating is how there has not been any type of COVID issue through the entirety of this pandemic, that the precautions taken here have paid off.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's not been any issue.
Okay.
I believe they've had a couple staff that have tested positive along the way. But you're exactly right. In terms of residents, there's not been an outbreak. The former director, I think, put some things in place that were very, very effective in keeping the virus out of the home.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for your time.
No problem.